Hey everyone, welcome back. Whether you're a seasoned prepper or someone who's just starting to think, maybe I should have a little extra food on hand, this is the video for you. I spent the last 2 weeks diving deep into government reports, talking to survival experts, and even visited a long-term food storage facility. What I found? Absolutely shocking. Most families wouldn't last more than a week without access to fresh food. And no, your fridge won't save you. In this video, I'm showing you the first 19 foods you should be stockpiling right now, many of which you probably never thought about. Some have longer shelf lives than you'd believe, and others are already disappearing from stores during minor crises. Look, we live in a world where disasters can strike without warning. Hurricanes, power grid failures, pandemics, or even just a massive snowstorm that traps you at home for days. Drop a comment below with the last time you noticed something missing from your local grocery aisle. Was it eggs, canned goods? Let's talk. Now let's get into it. This isn't just about preppers, it's about every one of us. Stick around to find out what foods you need to stockpile before it's too late. Let's start with one of the most underrated survival foods, beans. If you're not already thinking about adding beans to your emergency stockpile, you should be. These little powerhouses are cheap, easy to store, and packed with nutrients that your body will thank you for when life gets unpredictable. Beans come in all kinds. Black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, navy beans, you name it. They might not look like much, but don't let their size fool you. They're loaded with protein, fiber, and complex carbs. That means they'll keep you full longer and give you the energy you need when you can't just grab a sandwich from the deli. Here's the best part. Beans last forever if stored properly. We're talking years. All you need is a cool, dry place and an airtight container. No fridge required. That makes them perfect for any emergency pantry. And guess what? You don't have to eat them plain. Beans are super versatile. Throw them into soups, stews, or even blend them into dips. Mix them with some rice and a few spices, and suddenly you've got a full meal. Some people think survival food has to taste bad, but beans, you can make them taste good. Just add a little onion, garlic, maybe some cumin or chili powder, and you've got something warm, comforting, and actually delicious. They're also budget friendly. You can buy a big bag of dried beans for just a few dollars. That's way cheaper than most canned meats or packaged snacks, and unlike fresh meat, you don't have to worry about them going bad after the power goes out. In a real crisis, protein becomes harder to find. Beans help fill that gap without needing refrigeration or special packaging. They're a quiet hero of long-term food storage. So if you're just starting your emergency food stash, grab a few bags of beans. Your future self will thank you when dinner is hot, hearty, and hits the spot, even when the world isn't at its best. Number 2, white rice. Let's talk about white rice. Your pantry's best friend when things go sideways. If you're thinking about survival food, rice probably comes to mind, but not all rice is created equal. When it comes to long-term storage, white rice wins hands down. Why? Because unlike brown rice, white rice doesn't have the oils in the bran layer that can go bad over time. That means it can last for years if stored right. Yes, years. All you need is a cool, dark place and an airtight container. Some people even add oxygen absorbers to keep it fresh even longer. But even without fancy storage, regular white rice from the store can last up to 10 years if kept dry. It's light, easy to cook, and fills your belly like few other foods can. Plus, it pairs perfectly with beans, veggies, or whatever protein you've got on hand. White rice isn't just about carbs, it's about comfort. In a stressful situation, having something familiar to eat makes a big difference. Kids love it, adults depend on it, and in a crisis, that kind of food matters more than you'd think. You can use it for more than just side dishes, too. Make rice pudding for a sweet treat, mix it into soups for extra body, or grind it into flour for baking. And let's not forget the price tag. White rice is one of the most affordable foods out there. You can buy a huge bag for just a few bucks. That makes it perfect for building your emergency stockpile without breaking the bank. So while it might not look like much, white rice is a quiet powerhouse in any survival plan. It's reliable, filling, and keeps for ages. If you're building your list, this should be near the top. So ready for number 3, canned vegetables. Let's not forget about vegetables. Even in a crisis, you still need your vitamins. Fresh veggies won't last long when the power's out. That's where canned vegetables come in. They're ready to eat, full of nutrients, and stay good for years. You can find just about any veggie in a can. Green beans, carrots, peas, corn, tomatoes, spinach, the list goes on. Each one brings something different to the table, so it's smart to mix it up. Canned veggies are already cooked, which saves fuel and time when you're in survival mode. Just open and eat or toss them into soups, stews, or rice dishes to make meals more interesting. Some people worry canned food doesn't taste great, but that's not always true. A little salt, garlic, or butter, if you've got some stored, can make a big difference. And here's a bonus: most canned vegetables last way past their expiration date. As long as the cans are sealed and not bulging or rusted, they should be safe to eat for years. They also help prevent nutritional gaps in your emergency diet. Without them, you might miss out on important vitamins like A, C, and K, plus minerals like potassium and fiber. Storage is simple. Keep them in a cool, dry place and rotate your stock every few years. Don't wait until you need them to check what's in your pantry. Think of canned vegetables as your backup plan for staying healthy when fresh options aren't around. You don't want to survive on beans and rice alone forever. These add color, flavor, and balance to your meals. So when you're building your disaster food stash, grab a few extra cans each grocery trip. It adds up faster than you think, and your future self will thank you. Number 4, canned fruit. Let's talk about something sweet, because even in a disaster, you still deserve a little joy. Enter canned fruit. It's not just for school lunches or grandma's pantry. In a survival situation, canned fruit is a game changer. Why? Because it gives you that sweet fix without needing refrigeration. No power? No problem. These stay good for years and bring more than just flavor to your emergency meals. You've got options too. Peaches, pears, apples, pineapple, mandarin oranges, the list goes on. Each one brings its own taste and texture, so you can keep things interesting. Like canned veggies, these are already cooked and ready to eat. Just pop the lid and enjoy. Or mix them into oatmeal, rice, or yogurt if you've got some powdered versions stashed away. And here's the best part. Canned fruit keeps much longer than you think. As long as the seal is intact and the can isn't bulging or rusted, most fruits will last 2 to 5 years, sometimes even longer. Some cans come in heavy syrup, which helps preserve the fruit but adds extra sugar. If you're watching your sugar intake, look for packed-in water or light syrup versions. Canned fruit also gives you nutrients like vitamin C, potassium, and fiber. Things you might miss out on when fresh fruit isn't an option. And let's be real. After days of beans, rice, and canned meat, having something sweet can make a huge difference in morale, especially for kids and adults who still love snacks that taste like dessert. So don't skip the fruit section next time you're at the store. Grab a few extra cans, toss them in your storage bin, and rotate them every couple of years. It's a small thing now, but later on, it could be the highlight of someone's day. Number 5, canned meats. Now let's talk about protein, the kind that doesn't need refrigeration or a grill to cook. That's where canned meats come in. They might not be gourmet, but when the power's out and the grocery stores are closed, you'll be glad you have them. Canned meats are already cooked, sealed tight, and ready to eat whenever you need them. No prep, no mess, just open and go. You've got options too. Tuna, chicken, corned beef, Spam, even ground beef in a can. Some might sound weird now, but trust me, tastes change when you're down to your last meal. Each type of canned meat has its own use. Tuna mixes into salads or sandwiches, chicken shreds easily for tacos or casseroles, Spam, slice it up and fry it, comfort food in a crisis. And don't worry, while they might not taste exactly like fresh meat, they still give you that rich, savory flavor your body craves. Plus, they're full of protein, which helps keep you strong and energized. Most canned meats last 2 to 5 years, sometimes longer if stored properly. Just keep them in a cool, dry place and check the cans for damage before eating. Some people think canned meat is gross, but that's usually because they haven't tried cooking with it. Add some spices, mix it into rice or pasta, or throw it in a soup. Suddenly, it's not so bad. They're also super convenient. You don't need to hunt, butcher, or cook for hours. Just crack one open and you've got a solid meal starter. In a real emergency, meat spoils fast. Fresh cuts won't last 2 days without power. Number 6, honey. Let's take a break from survival staples for a second and talk about something sweet, really sweet. Honey might not be the first thing you think of when building your emergency pantry, but it should be. Why? Because honey never goes bad. Seriously, archaeologists have found pots of honey in ancient Egyptian tombs that were still perfectly edible. That's some next level shelf life. You don't need to store it in the fridge, you don't need to can it, and as long as you keep the lid on tight, it'll last forever. Crystallization, that's normal. Just warm it up and it's good as new. But honey isn't just a sweet treat. It's got real survival value. For starters, it's full of calories, which means energy. In a situation where food is scarce, Having a jar of honey around can help keep your strength up. It also has antibacterial properties. People have used honey for centuries to treat wounds and soothe sore throats. If you're ever stuck without access to medicine, this golden goo could come in handy. And let's not forget flavor. A little drizzle over canned fruit, oatmeal, or even plain rice can turn a bland meal into something worth eating. Plus, it's a comfort food. After days of beans, rice, and canned meat, a spoonful of honey can feel like a small luxury. Kids love it, adults appreciate it. It's a morale booster in a jar. You can use it in baking too. Mix it into bread dough, pancakes, or cookies if you've got flour and baking powder stored away. Honey doesn't take up much space, it doesn't spoil, and it does more than just taste good. It's one of those quiet heroes of emergency prep that most people overlook until they need it. So next time you're at the store, grab an extra jar or two, store them in a cool, dark place, and leave them untouched until you really need them. They'll be waiting, unchanged, unspoiled, and ready to save the day. Number 7. Salt. Let's talk about something you probably already have in your kitchen, but might not think to stockpile: salt. It's not just for making food taste good. Salt is one of the most important items you can have in a survival situation. For starters, your body needs salt to function. Without it, you'd start feeling weak, dizzy, or worse. In a crisis, staying hydrated and maintaining electrolyte balance is key, and salt helps with that. But beyond keeping your body running, salt has been used for centuries as a natural preservative. Before refrigeration, people used salt to cure meat, dry fish, and keep food from spoiling. In an emergency, having extra salt on hand means you can preserve fresh food longer, which could be a lifesaver if the power goes out and your fridge stops working. Salt also has medical uses. You can use it to clean wounds, soothe sore throats, or even draw out infections when mixed with water. And let's not forget flavor. When most of your meals are coming from cans or storage, a little salt makes a huge difference. Suddenly, beans don't taste so bland. Rice feels more like a real meal, and even canned meat becomes edible. The best part, salt doesn't go bad. As long as it stays dry, it'll last forever. No need for special packaging or storage. Just keep it in a sealed container and you're good. There are different kinds too. Table salt, sea salt, kosher salt, even rock salt. For cooking and survival, iodized table salt is ideal because it gives you both flavor and essential nutrients. You don't need a ton, but having a few extra boxes stored away will make life easier when things go sideways. So next time you're at the store, don't just grab what you need for tonight's dinner. Throw in a few extra bags for the future. Because when the world gets shaky, salt is one thing you'll always want in your pantry. Number 8, pasta products. Let's talk about something that makes survival meals feel a little more normal. Pasta. Yes, pasta. That box of spaghetti or penne in your pantry, it's more than just dinner. It's comfort food you can store for years. Pasta is super cheap, super light, and takes up almost no space. You can buy it in bulk, throw it in a storage bin, and forget about it until you need it. And trust me, when life gets messy and meals start looking like cans on a shelf, having a warm bowl of spaghetti can feel like home. It doesn't need refrigeration, it doesn't go bad if stored right, and all it takes is boiling water to turn it into something real people eat. You don't have to stick with spaghetti either. Penne, elbows, linguine, rotini, each shape brings something different to the table. Rotate through them so your meals don't get boring. Pasta also plays well with others. Mix it with canned tomatoes, toss in some beans or canned meat, add a few spices, and suddenly you've got a full meal. Need to stretch your food supply? Pasta helps with that too. It fills you up, keeps energy levels steady, and gives your body the carbs it needs to keep going. Number 9, spaghetti sauce. Now let's talk about something that makes survival food not just edible, but actually tasty. Spaghetti sauce. Yes, that jar of red sauce you usually grab for dinner night. It's way more than a pantry item. It's your secret weapon in a crisis. Because here's the thing. When most of your meals are coming from cans and storage bags, flavor becomes your best friend. And spaghetti sauce, it's like magic in a jar. It turns boring into brilliant. Got some canned beans, leftover chicken, or even a weird veggie you found in the back of your pantry? Slather on some sauce, and suddenly it's Italian comfort food. That's why it's one of those must-have items for emergency prep. Not only does it last for years if stored properly, but it also helps hide the fact that you're basically surviving off your pantry. You can find spaghetti sauce in jars, cans, or even shelf-stable pouches. Some brands don't even need refrigeration until after opening. Perfect for when the power's out. And guess what? You don't have to use it with pasta. Mix it into rice, stir it into soups, or use it as a base for stews. It adds depth, warmth, and a little bit of normalcy to meals that might otherwise feel like survival slop. Most store-bought sauces last 1 to 2 years, unopened, sometimes longer. Just keep them in a cool, dark place and check for swelling or rust before eating. Spaghetti sauce also gives you nutrients like lycopene from tomatoes, vitamin C, and fiber, things you might miss out on when fresh produce isn't around. And let's be real, after days of beans, rice, and canned meat, having something that actually tastes good makes a huge difference, especially for kids and adults who still crave comfort food. So next time you're at the store, don't just grab one jar. Throw in a few extras, rotate them every so often, and keep them sealed tight. Because in a world where everything can change overnight, a little red sauce might just save your sanity. Number 10, jerky. Let's talk about a survival snack that's been around for centuries, jerky. You might think of it as just a road trip snack, but jerky is way more than that. It's pure meat packed with protein and lasts forever if stored right. Beef jerky is the most common, but you can also find turkey, chicken, venison, and even plant-based versions. All of them give you energy and keep your strength up when food is scarce. The secret to jerky's long shelf life? Salt and dehydration. Those two things keep bacteria away, which means no fridge needed. Just seal it up tight and store it somewhere cool and dry. Most store-bought jerky comes in vacuum-sealed bags, which locks in freshness for years. Some brands even add oxygen absorbers to make it last even longer. And here's the bonus. Jerky is lightweight and easy to carry. Toss a few packs in your bug-out bag, emergency kit, or backpack, perfect for on the move. It's not just for snacking either. Throw some into soups, stews, or rice dishes and let it rehydrate. Suddenly, it tastes almost like real meat again. Sure, it's not cheap to buy in bulk, but think of it as an investment in your food security. A little goes a long way, and in a crisis, having real protein on hand makes all the difference. Some people worry about the sodium content, and that's fair, but in survival situations, salt isn't the enemy, it's the preserver. You need it to stay strong, especially if you're burning calories and staying active. If you're really serious about prepping, consider making your own jerky at home. Buy meat on sale, slice it thin, and use a dehydrator or oven. It cuts the cost way down and gives you control over the seasoning and salt levels. Either way, jerky deserves a spot in your emergency stash. It's compact, nutritious, and keeps your morale high when meals start feeling repetitive. So next time you see a good deal on jerky, grab a few extra bags. Don't just think of it as a snack. Think of it as survival fuel. Number 11, peanut butter. Let's talk about something that feels like comfort food, but also packs a survival punch. Peanut butter. You know the drill. Creamy or crunchy, spreadable, and seriously satisfying. But peanut butter is more than just a sandwich staple. It's one of those foods that can carry you through tough times when the pantry gets low. Why? Because it's packed with protein, healthy fats, and calories. All things you need when food becomes scarce. Plus, it doesn't need refrigeration if unopened, and some jars last up to 2 years on the shelf. That makes it perfect for emergency storage. Just grab a few extra jars next time you're at the store and tuck them away. Peanut butter is also super versatile. Spread it on crackers, mix it into oatmeal, or eat it straight from the spoon. No cooking required. Add some honey or jelly if you've got it, and suddenly you've got a real meal. Number 12, wheat flour. Let's talk about something that might not seem like a survival food at first glance. Wheat flour. Sure, you probably use it for baking or making pancakes on a lazy Sunday, but when disaster hits, having flour stored away means the difference between surviving and actually eating like a human. Flour gives you the power to make bread, tortillas, biscuits, cookies, even thickener for soups and sauces. It adds variety to your emergency meals and keeps things from getting too boring. Now, not all flours are created equal. We're talking about wheat flour here, the kind that lets you bake real food from scratch. Not cake mix or self-rising, well, the basic stuff. It doesn't need refrigeration, but it does need to be stored properly. Keep it in an airtight container with some oxygen absorbers, and it can last up to 10 years or more. Yes, years. That's some serious shelf life for something that feels so normal. Flour also gives you energy. Carbs aren't the enemy, they're fuel. In a world without microwaves and takeout, being able to whip up a batch of bread or pancakes is a big deal. And let's not forget morale. After days of canned beans, rice, and sauce and jerky, a warm piece of bread with peanut butter or honey Feels like comfort food heaven. You don't have to go full sourdough artisan on day one. Just having the ability to make simple dough-based meals makes wheat flour worth its weight in gold. Some people skip it because they think they can live off packaged snacks or canned goods forever, but eventually you'll crave something warm, soft, and familiar. Plus, flour isn't just for bread. Use it to thicken stews, coat meat before frying, or even make dumplings for soup. It's more versatile than most people realize. Store a few bags now, rotate them every couple of years, and keep them sealed tight. Bugs love flour almost as much as we do, so protect your stash. Because when the grid goes down and the grocery shelves empty out, having wheat flour on hand could be the key to keeping your kitchen alive. Number 13, baking powder and baking soda. Let's talk about two quiet heroes of survival cooking, baking powder and baking soda. You might not think much of them now, but when you're trying to make bread, biscuits, or pancakes without power, these two little helpers become super important. Baking powder is what makes your dough rise without needing a fancy oven or yeast. It's like magic dust for making food feel normal again. Pancakes, muffins, even simple bread. None of it works the same without it. And baking soda, it's got more jobs than just fluffing up your baked goods. It's also great for cleaning, soothing burns, and even helping with digestion in a pinch. Both are shelf stable, but they do have limits. Unopened baking soda can last for years. Baking powder, not quite as long, usually around 6 to 12 months, so it's smart to rotate your stash every so often. Store them in airtight containers, keep them dry, and they'll be ready when you need them most. Some people skip these thinking they can live off canned food forever, but eventually you'll want something warm, soft, and homemade, and that's where these two come in. Plus, they don't take up much space. A few small cans or jars tucked away in your pantry won't break the bank, but they'll pay off big time when life gets messy. Baking powder helps you make meals that feel real. Baking soda helps you clean, treat minor injuries, and even brush your teeth if you're ever out of toothpaste. They're not flashy, but they get the job done. And in a world where things can change overnight, having a little backup goes a long way. So next time you're at the store, grab an extra can of each. Don't wait until you need them. By then it might already be too late. Because when the power's gone and the world feels upside down, a warm biscuit or a simple cake could be exactly what keeps your spirits up. Number 14, bouillon. Let's talk about something small, powerful, and often overlooked. Bouillon. You know those little cubes or packets you usually toss into soup or rice? They're way more useful than you think, especially when you're living off your emergency pantry. Bouillon is like flavor insurance. It turns plain water into broth, bland rice into something worth eating, and boring beans into a real meal. In a survival situation, food can start to feel repetitive fast. Beans, rice, canned veggies, they'll keep you alive, sure, but after a while they get kinda dull. That's where bouillon comes in. A single cube can upgrade just about anything. Add it to boiling water for hot drinks, mix it into grains, or use it as a base for soups and stews. And here's the bonus, most bouillon lasts years if stored properly. Unopened, it doesn't need refrigeration and takes up almost no space. Just keep it dry and sealed tight. You can find it in beef, chicken, vegetable, and even seafood flavors. Grab a few of each so your meals don't all taste the same. Number 15, water. Let's talk about something so obvious, most people forget it until it's gone. Water. You can survive weeks without food, but only a few days without water. That's why it's not just on this list, it's near the top. When the power goes out or the pipes freeze, your tap might stop working. No flush toilets, no showers, no clean water for drinking or cooking. That's when having a stockpile of water already stored away becomes one of the smartest things you've ever done. Most experts recommend at least 1 gallon per person per day, and that's just for drinking. You'll need more for cooking, cleaning, and hygiene, so if you've got a family of 4, you're looking at least 28 gallons every week, just to stay basic. Now, storing that much water might sound like a lot, and it is, but it doesn't have to be complicated. Use clean plastic containers, old milk jugs washed out, or even buy sealed bottles in bulk. Store it somewhere cool, dark, and off the floor. Heat and sunlight break down plastic over time, so keep it safe. And here's a tip. Rotate your supply every 6 months. Drink the old bottles, replace them with fresh ones. That way, you always know what you have is good. Some people skip this step thinking they can boil or filter water later, but in a real emergency, fuel and filters might be limited, or gone completely. Having clean water already on hand means you don't have to gamble with unknown sources. Plus, water isn't just about survival, it's about comfort. A little hot water with bouillon, some for making oatmeal, or even just brushing your teeth. Those small things matter more than you think, and let's not forget hygiene. Without water, washing hands, cleaning dishes, or staying fresh becomes nearly impossible, which can lead to bigger problems fast. So next time you're stocking up on beans, rice, and jerky, don't forget the most important item of all. Because when the world gets shaky, water is the one thing you can't afford to run out of. Number 16, whole grain crackers. Let's talk about something that might not seem like a big deal now, but could be a lifesaver later. Whole grain crackers. They're not just for cheese plates or lunch boxes. In a survival situation, these little guys are compact, filling, and packed with nutrients you'll want on hand. Whole grain crackers give you fiber, energy, and something solid to chew on when most of your food comes from cans or bags. They last longer than bread, don't need cooking, and can be eaten alone with peanut butter or even crumbled into soup for extra body. Plus, they're great for sandwiches if you've got some canned meat or jerky tucked away. Just slap some together and boom, you've got a real meal. Now, not all crackers are made equal. We're talking about whole grain or whole wheat here, the kind that gives you more than just empty carbs. These have more nutrition than plain saltines, which means they help keep your energy steady and your digestion running smooth, especially when fresh veggies are hard to come by. But here's the catch. Whole grain crackers do have more oils than regular crackers, so they don't last quite as long. Check the expiration date before storing and keep an eye on them. To make them last longer, store them in airtight containers or vacuum seal them. Some people even add oxygen absorbers to keep them fresh for years. They're also super light and easy to pack. Toss a few boxes in your emergency kit, bug out bag, or pantry stash. You won't regret it when the power goes out. Kids love them, adults appreciate them, and in a crisis, having something crunchy and satisfying can do wonders for morale. And let's not forget versatility. Crush them up for breading, use them as a base for open-faced snacks, or just munch on them when you need a quick bite. So next time you're at the store, grab a few extra boxes. Don't just think of them as snacks. Think of them as survival fuel. Because when the world gets weird and meals start feeling repetitive, a simple cracker might just be the thing that keeps your spirits up. Number 17. Nuts and trail mixes. Let's talk about something small, powerful, and easy to forget when prepping nuts and trail mixes. You probably think of them as snacks, something you toss into your backpack for a hike or grab when you're between meals. But in a survival situation, these little powerhouses are way more than that. Nuts and trail mixes are packed with calories, healthy fats, protein, and nutrients that keep you going when food is scarce. They don't need cooking, they don't spoil fast if stored right, and they give you energy without weighing you down. That makes them perfect for emergency kits, bug-out bags, or just keeping around the house. Almonds, walnuts, peanuts, cashews, each one brings something different to the table. Some are high in protein, others in good fats or minerals like magnesium and potassium. Number 18, powdered milk. Let's talk about something most people forget until it's too late. Powdered milk. You probably don't think much about it now. But when the power goes out, the fridge stops working, and fresh milk is nowhere to be found, powdered milk becomes one of your best friends. It's not just for kids either. Adults need calcium, vitamin D, and protein too. And powdered milk gives you all that without needing refrigeration. Just add water and boom, you've got milk again. Use it for drinking, cooking, baking, or even mixing into oatmeal or pancake batter for extra nutrition. And here's the best part. Powdered milk lasts years if stored properly. Some sealed packages can last up to 20 years. Yes, really. That makes it a quiet hero of long-term food storage. It doesn't take up much space, doesn't spoil like fresh dairy, and gives you something familiar when life gets messy. Some people skip powdered milk thinking they can live without dairy. But over time, your body misses out on key nutrients, especially if you're already low on fresh food. Powdered milk helps fill that gap. Use it to make hot drinks, sauces, or even reconstitute it and pour it over cereal if you've got some stored grains. There are different kinds too. Non-fat, whole milk powder, even flavored versions. Stick with the basics for longer shelf life and more flexibility. Store it in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers to keep moisture out. Once opened, use it within a few months, but unopened, it'll sit tight for years. And don't forget the morale boost. After days of canned beans and rice, having something warm and creamy to drink makes a big difference, especially for kids. So, next time you're at the store and see a can or bag of powdered milk on sale, toss it in your cart. Don't wait until the shelves are empty. Because when the world gets shaky, having a backup supply of milk might just be one of the smartest things you've ever done. Number 19, multivitamins. Let's talk about something most people overlook when building their emergency food stash: multivitamins. You might not think of them as food, but they play a big role in keeping you healthy when fresh fruits, veggies, and balanced meals are hard to come by. In a disaster situation, your diet can get pretty limited. Beans, rice, canned goods, they'll keep you alive, sure, but they won't give you everything your body needs. That's where multivitamins come in. They help fill in the nutritional gaps when your pantry is full of survival foods but light on variety. They're small, lightweight, and last for years if stored properly. Most bottles have an expiration date, but even past that, they're still safe to take, just not at full strength. And here's the bonus: they don't take up much space. A few bottles tucked into your emergency kit or pantry can cover your whole family for months, sometimes even years. Multivitamins give you vitamin C, B complex, iron, magnesium, and more. All things you might miss out on when fresh produce isn't around. Some people skip them thinking they can survive on canned food alone. But over time, missing key nutrients can lead to fatigue, weakened immunity, and other health issues. That's why it's smart to have a backup supply. Not because they're a meal replacement, they're not, but because they help you stay strong while surviving on limited food. You don't need fancy brands or expensive formulas. Basic store-bought multivitamins work just fine. Just make sure to rotate your stock every couple of years. Kids need them too. Their bodies are growing, and even in a crisis, they still need the vitamins that support energy, brain function, and immune health. So next time you're stocking up on beans, rice, and peanut butter, don't forget to grab a few extra bottles of multivitamins. Store them in a cool, dry place and check the dates now and then, because when the world gets unpredictable, staying healthy isn't just about food. It's about making sure your body has everything it needs to keep going. And there you have it. The first 19 foods you should stockpile for any disaster. These aren't just random picks. They're battle-tested by time, science, and real-life preppers who know what works. From beans and rice to honey and bouillon, each of these items brings something important to your emergency pantry: nutrition, shelf life, flavor, and peace of mind. Now, I'm not saying you need to go out and buy all of this overnight. Start small. Grab 1 or 2 items each week, build your stash slowly, and before you know it, you'll have a solid food supply ready for anything. If you found this helpful, smash that like button and subscribe if you want more practical, no-nonsense tips on staying prepared and surviving the unexpected. Drop a comment below. Let's talk in the comments. I read every single one. Stay safe, stay smart, and keep your pantry ready.